Hello everyone and welcome for this new video. I am so excited because as you might know, my little baby boy was born on June the 4th and now he's a couple of weeks old and he's just the sweetest child. I mean it's just awesome. He's full of love. It's not always easy. Still we have to wake up at night. I mean there's lots of things that I know, babies, it's not easy going, there's always something to do, but so far it's just so much joy and happiness. And I thought, yeah, well, let's talk about babies in painting, let's talk about babies in the history of art. I wanted to create a video on how to paint or draw babies because it's not that easy. But I just didn't have time. I mean, if you have children, I'm sure you understand that. But let's just have an overview of the history of art and how babies were painted, and what we can learn from that. Just it's going to be a special learning from the masters focused on babies, right? All right, let's do that. Let's start with the old ways. And painting a baby is not always easy, and it can very easily become creepy and weird because babies are just next to the Uncanny Valley. Let me show you. The Uncanny Valley is a weird valley that's happening between cute but very cartoonish. So when you're like this, well, the more cartoonish, the better. But as you go more realistic, as you go more towards realistic, at some point there's a drop because it's realistic, but not enough. It's just something is just missing, and boom. And this is called the Uncanny Valley. And once you get more towards realism, you go back up. This is especially a problem when painting babies. And this is not just about painting babies, but like maybe if you're an engineer trying to make a baby robot, there's a good chance that this baby robot will be in the Uncanny Valley because there might be something that looks sort of real, but it's not exactly realistic. It's not exactly how it's supposed to be, so it's creepy. And so for a long time it was actually a rule, especially for religious paintings, to create babies with adult features. This is called the homunculus. This is not an insult in Latin, it means little man. Basically the idea was that, well, Jesus Christ is the Son of God, so it should not be allowed for artists to paint him with childlike features. So you end up with paintings like this, where you have the size of a baby, but you have features of an adult. And this equals to creep factor. So that's why many of the paintings before the Renaissance would look sort of very weird in a way. It was a style, it was specially made to look like this because you were not supposed to paint Jesus Christ with attributes that would make him look imperfect. But in reality, the opposite was happening, and you had to wait for the Renaissance that to happen. Still, there were some missteps. If you look at this, for instance, this painting by Cranach, you can see that now the features of babies are still represented, but, well, it's weird because the slightest things that's not in place can create a very weird effect. Like this, you can see that all the features of the head of this baby are way too on this side like this. It's not supposed to be There's not supposed to be that much space. The eyes should be a little bit bigger. This baby looks okay, even though you could say that eyes should be a little bit wider. Even great artists like Dürer, for instance, did make some pretty creepy babies. And if you look at this example, it's a painting by Dürer. Dürer was a great genius, but for this one, he did not really paint that great of a baby. But maybe, the baby he had as a model actually looked like this. And this is possible because babies, I can tell you that they spend their entire time making weird faces, taking weird gestures, making all sorts of weird things. Babies don't look perfect, and this is one of the key elements of painting babies, is that they move around so much, and they are always doing something with their face, unless they're sleeping, that it's very hard to catch something. And this is also one thing that's that you can see on many amateur paintings, is that, well, people try to catch a smile, and that just doesn't work, because like a smile is something that's, especially for a baby, doesn't last for a very long time. And I'm sure that you've seen some of these paintings of a baby with a smile. It's almost impossible to catch a smile. So my recommendation, if you want to paint a baby, if you want to go for something that looks natural, that looks peaceful, that looks like an actual baby, is a good idea is to paint them or draw them while they're sleeping. Because, well, with the eyes closed, it's going to be much easier to represent the baby with a true baby character, but without it looking weird. That's the easy road. If you want to take the hard road, you have to go towards artists like Raphael. Raphael was especially well known for his Madonnas and Child, where the babies actually look decent. They have actual baby features and baby proportions. The key to a baby painting is to respect the proportions. The eyes of a baby take a lot more space on the entire head. Their head is a lot more round. They have great big cheeks, tiny mouth, tiny nose, and eyes a little bit bigger. And just these features are what we can recognize as a baby. And if you look at a cartoonish depiction of a baby, that's what we do generally. Like, look at this. Big eyes, round head, and that's it. That's a baby. And small mouth, and even like a non-existing nose, and it works as a sort of cartoonish depiction of a baby. So these elements are the type of proportions that you're looking for when painting a baby. Their size relative, the size of their head relative to their body is approximately one head size for approximately one head for 4, so it's like 1 on 5 parts, whereas an adult is more like 1 for 9, 1 for 8, depending on the person. If you really want to make them cute, you can paint them as angels. And look at this. These angels are very famous. They are also from Raphael. Very famous paintings of angels. You see big eyes, big cheeks, tiny mouth, tiny nose, and that's it. You get a successful baby. If you don't want to make them too young, you can put hair. And with hair, the baby's going to look a little bit older, a little bit less newborn-like and more childlike. Now, another great artist that painted wonderful baby was Bouguereau, who had some just wonderful, gracious babies. This one is not his best, but I want to have you look at this. Chubby bodies, chubby ankles, chubby feet, chubby hands, everything chubby. That's how you make a baby cute. And but if you want to make him the baby very gracious, you can make him less chubby, a little bit more delineated, which is why what happened in this one. This is the one of the greatest example of how you can make a baby actually look sort of divine in a way. That's a very strong painting of babies. It doesn't look natural. It looks very sacred, and that's, if you compare that to the old way, to the homunculus way, well, this makes a whole world of difference. This baby actually looks like a baby, and he also looks divine, which is something very impressive. So let's just have a look at the basic features. I'm not going to draw an entire baby, but just what you should be looking for. So, big round head. That's generally what you want. Big cheeks. And generally tiny chin. And now a tiny nose, as we said. Relatively big eyes. And the shape of the eyes and all the features of the eyes are not fully developed for a baby, so it's but I think that for this, just for the eyes, it's generally better to make them more finished, because otherwise they look sort of weird. You can add eyebrows, very, very fine. I just suggest to put the overall shape of the eyebrows, maybe just following some shadows. Alright, that's it. That's just a basic sketch. It's just to give you an idea, but well, I should spend more time finishing that, but maybe I'll do a more in-depth video on how to paint or draw babies if I have time. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I hope you liked it. If you do, you can subscribe and you can check out my other videos. If you want to learn about oil painting, you can also check out my oil painting course, which is full of all technical details if you want to learn about oil painting. And as always, guys, thank you for all the nice words that I've been receiving for my baby, and I'll see you for the next video. Until then, have fun painting. Bye.